Welcome. We are on day 117 of the chronological Bible in a year. Take a breath and take a moment to celebrate that you have set this time aside to hear God's word. Let's begin at 2 Samuel 12, verse 26. Now Joab fought against Rabbah of the sons of Ammon and captured the royal city. Then Joab sent messengers to David and said, I have fought against Rabbah. I have even captured the city of waters. Now then, gather the rest of the people and camp opposite the city and capture it, or I will capture the city myself, and it will be named after me. So David gathered all the people and went to Rabbah, and he fought against it and captured it. Then he took the crown of their king from his head, and its weight was a talent of gold, and it had a precious stone, and it was placed on David's head. And he brought out the plunder of the city in great amounts. He also brought out the people who were in it, and put some to work at saws, iron picks, and iron axes, and made others serve at the brickworks. And he did the same to all the cities of the sons of Ammon. Then David and all the people returned to Jerusalem. 1 Chronicles 20, beginning at verse 2. David took the crown of their king from his head, and he found it to weigh a talent of gold, and there was a precious stone in it, and it was placed on David's head. And he brought out the spoils of the city, a very great amount. He brought out the people who were in it, and put them to work at saws, iron picks, and axes. And David did the same to all the cities of the sons of Ammon. Then David and all the people returned to Jerusalem. 2 Samuel chapter 13. Now it was after this that Absalom, the son of David, had a beautiful sister whose name was Tamar. And Amnon, the son of David, was in love with her. But Amnon was so frustrated on account of his sister Tamar that he made himself ill, for she was a virgin, and it seemed too difficult to Amnon to do anything to her. But Amnon had a friend whose name was Jonadab, the son of Shimea, David's brother. And Jonadab was a very clever man, and he said to him, Why are you, the king's son, so depressed morning after morning? Will you not tell me? So Amnon said to him, I am in love with Tamar, the sister of my brother Absalom. Jonadab then said to him, Lie down on your bed and pretend to be ill. When your father comes to see you, say to him, Please have my sister Tamar come and give me food to eat, and have her prepare the food in my sight, so that I may see it and eat from her hand. So Amnon lay down and pretended to be ill. When the king came to see him, Amnon said to the king, Please have my sister Tamar come and make me a couple of pastries in my sight, so that I may eat from her hand. Then David sent a messenger to the house of Tamar, saying, Go now to your brother Amnon's house, and prepare food for him. So Tamar went to her brother Amnon's house, and he was lying in bed. And she took dough, kneaded it, made pastries in his sight, and baked the pastries. Then she took the tray and served them to him, but he refused to eat. And Amnon said, Have everyone leave me. So everyone left him. Then Amnon said to Tamar, Bring the food into the bedroom, so that I may eat from your hand. So Tamar took the pastries which she had made, and brought them into the bedroom to her brother Amnon. When she brought them to him to eat, he took hold of her and said to her, Come, sleep with me, my sister. But she said to him, No, my brother, do not violate me, for such a thing is not done in Israel. Do not do this disgraceful sin. As for me, where could I get rid of my shame? And as for you, you will be like one of the fools in Israel. Now then, please speak to the king, for he will not withhold me from you. However, he would not listen to her, Since he was stronger than she, he violated her and slept with her. Then Amnon hated her with a very great hatred. Indeed, the hatred with which he hated her was greater than the love with which he had loved her. And Amnon said to her, "Get up and go away." But she said to him, "No, because this wrong in sending me away is greater than the other that you have done to me." Yet he would not listen to her. Then he called his young man who attended him and said, "Now throw this woman out of my presence and lock the door behind her." Now she had on a long-sleeved garment, for this is how the virgin daughters of the king dressed themselves in robes. Then his attendant took her out and locked the door behind her. Tamar took ashes and put them on her head, and tore her long-sleeved garment which was on her, and she put her hand on her head and went on her way, crying out as she went. Then Absalom, her brother, said to her, "Has Amnon your brother been with you? But now keep silent, my sister. He is your brother. Do not take this matter to heart." So Tamar remained and was isolated in her brother Absalom's house. Now when King David heard about all these matters, he became very angry. But Absalom did not speak with Amnon, either good or bad. For Absalom hated Amnon because he had violated his sister Tamar. Now it came about after 2 full years that Absalom had sheep shearers in Baal-Hazor, which is near Ephraim. And Absalom invited all the king's sons to celebrate. And Absalom came to the king and said, "Behold now, your servant has sheep shearers. May the king and his servants please go with your servant." But the king said to Absalom, "No, my son, we should not all go, so that we will not be a burden to you." Though he urged him, he would not go, but he blessed him. Then Absalom said, "If not, please have my brother Amnon go with us." But the king said to him, "Why should he go with you?" Nevertheless, Absalom urged him, so he let Amnon and all the king's sons go with him. Then Absalom commanded his servants, saying, "See now, when Amnon's heart is cheerful with wine, and I say to you, strike Amnon, then put him to death. Do not fear. Have I not commanded you myself? Be courageous and be valiant." And the servants of Absalom did to Amnon just as Absalom had commanded. Then all the king's sons got up, and each mounted his mule and fled. Now it was while they were on the way that the report came to David, saying, "Absalom has struck and killed all the king's sons, and not one of them is left." Then the king stood up, tore his clothes, and lay on the ground, and all his servants were standing by with clothes torn. And Jonadab, the son of Shimeah, David's brother, responded, "Let not my lord assume that they have been put to death, all the young men, the king's sons, for only Amnon is dead, because this has been set up by the intent of Absalom since the day that he violated his sister Tamar. So now may the lord the king not take the report to heart, claiming all the king's sons are dead, but only Amnon is dead." Now Absalom had fled, and the young man who was the watchman raised his eyes and looked, and behold, many people were coming from the road behind him by the side of the mountain. And Jonadab said to the king, "Behold, the king's sons have come. So it has happened according to your servant's word." As soon as he had finished speaking, behold, the king's sons came and raised their voices and wept. And the king and all his servants also wept very profusely. Now Absalom had fled and gone to Talmai, the son of Ammihud, the king of Geshur. And David mourned for his son every day. So Absalom had fled and gone to Geshur, and was there for 3 years. And the heart of King David longed to go out to Absalom, for he was comforted regarding Amnon, since he was dead. 2 Samuel chapter 14. Now Joab, the son of Zeruiah, perceived that the king's heart was drawn toward Absalom. So Joab sent a messenger to Tekoa and brought a wise woman from there and said to her, "Please follow mourning rites and put on a mourning garment now, and do not anoint yourself with oil, but be like a woman who has been mourning for the dead for many days. Then go to the king and speak to him in this way." So Joab put the words in her mouth. And when the woman of Tekoa spoke to the king, she fell on her face to the ground and prostrated herself, and said, "Help, O king." And the king said to her, "What is troubling you?" And she answered, "Truly I am a widow, for my husband is dead. And your servant had 2 sons, but the 2 of them fought in the field, and there was no one to save them from each other. So the one struck the other and killed him. Now behold, the entire family has risen against your servant, and they have said, 'Hand over the one who struck his brother, so that we may put him to death for the life of his brother whom he killed, and eliminate the heir as well. So they will extinguish my coal which is left, so as to leave my husband neither name nor remnant on the face of the earth.' Then the king said to the woman, 'Go to your home, and I will issue orders concerning you.' The woman of Tekoa said to the king, 'My lord the king, the guilt is on me and my father's house, but the king and his throne are guiltless.' So the king said, 'Whoever speaks to you, bring him to me, and he will not touch you any more.' Then she said, 'May the king please remember the Lord your God, so that the avenger of blood will not continue to destroy, otherwise they will destroy my son.' And he said, 'As the Lord lives, not one hair of your son shall fall to the ground.' Then the woman said, 'Please let your servant speak a word to my lord the king.' And he said, 'Speak.' The woman said, 'Why then have you planned such a thing against the people of God? For in speaking this word, the king is like one who is guilty, and that the king does not bring back his banished one. For we will surely die, and are like water spilled on the ground, which cannot be gathered up. Yet God does not take away life, but makes plans so that the banished one will not be cast out from him. Now then, the reason I have come to speak this word to my lord the king is that the people have made me afraid. So your servant said, Let me now speak to the king. Perhaps the king will perform the request of his slave. For the king will listen to save his slave from the hand of the man who would eliminate both me and my son from the inheritance of God.' Then your servant said, 'Please let the word of my lord the king be comforting. For as the angel of God, so is my lord the king to discern good and evil. And may the Lord your God be with you.' Then the king answered and said to the woman, 'Please do not hide anything from me that I am about to ask you.' And the woman said, 'Let my lord the king please speak.' So the king said, 'Is the hand of Joab with you in all this?' And the woman replied, 'As your soul lives, my lord the king, no one can turn to the right or to the left from anything that my lord the king has spoken. Indeed, it was your servant Joab who commanded me, and it was he who put all these words in the mouth of your servant. In order to change the appearance of things, your servant Joab has done this thing. But my lord is wise, and like the wisdom of the angel of God, to know all that is on the earth.' Then the king said to Joab, 'Behold, now I will certainly do this thing. Go then, bring back the young man Absalom.' And Joab fell on his face to the ground, prostrated himself, and blessed the king. Then Joab said, 'Today your servant knows that I have found favor in your sight, my lord the king, in that the king has performed the request of his servant.' So Joab arose and went to Geshur, and brought Absalom to Jerusalem. However, the king said, "He shall return to his own house, but he shall not see my face." So Absalom returned to his own house and did not see the king's face. Now in all Israel there was no one as handsome as Absalom, so highly praised. From the sole of his foot to the top of his head, there was no impairment in him. And when he cut the hair of his head, and it was at the end of every year that he cut it, because it was heavy on him, so he cut it, he weighed the hair of his head at 200 shekels by the king's weight. And to Absalom there were born 3 sons and 1 daughter, whose name was Tamar, and she was a woman of beautiful appearance. Now Absalom lived 2 full years in Jerusalem, yet he did not see the king's face. Then Absalom sent for Joab to send him to the king, but he would not come to him. So he sent word again a second time, but he would not come. Therefore he said to his servants, "See, Joab's plot is next to mine, and he has barley there. Go and set it on fire." So Absalom's servants set the plot on fire. Then Joab got up, came to Absalom at his house, and said to him, "Why have your servants set my plot on fire?" Absalom answered Joab, "Because I sent for you, saying, 'Come here,' so that I may send you to the king to say, 'Why have I come from Geshur? It would be better for me still to be there.' Now then, let me see the king's face, and if there is guilt in me, he can have me executed." So when Joab came to the king and told him, he summoned Absalom. Then Absalom came to the king and prostrated himself with his face to the ground before the king, and the king kissed Absalom. Thank you for listening. I pray that the seed of God's word will be planted in your heart and will continue to grow.